guys, welcome back. As we talked about in the last video, I am building a power station, and I finally was able to get the last few things. I got a Marine Deep Cycle battery. I was going to get two smaller ones and hook them up parallel, but I could not find the ones that I was looking for. So I went ahead and bought one really big Deep Cycle Marine RV battery. I think it's gonna be just as good, if not better. Also got another container. This one much better. This thing fits perfectly in here, allowing some space for you know, some other things. There's about 2.5 inches of excess space in there, so if I need to, I can throw a couple you know, extra things in there. I can retract wires and put them back in there. After talking to my best friend, who is super smart with the electronics and stuff, I've decided to do a few things differently than what I talked about. We are going to vent this box. I'm going to just drill a series of holes on both sides to allow for airflow within and to vent things, because as we get using this battery, it's going to put off gases which will need to be vented. So we're going to be doing that. Also, I misunderstood how to hook the charge controller up. So the in from the solar panels will go through the charge controller, and then the inverter will go directly to the battery instead of into the charge controller. I just kind of misunderstood how that works, and after it was explained to me, it makes a lot more sense. So we are going to start putting this thing together, and this is going to be fun. I won't lie, I am slightly nervous. I'm not one that's super knowledgeable and good with anything electrical, and so this is kind of something new for me. But we are going to kind of learn together, and yeah. So with that being said, we are going to start working on the ball.
Stacked. You can whisper behind my back. You can show me how the odds are up against me all day long, but I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my...
Alright. It's not as nice and pretty as the other side. And then I'm going to go through with a razor knife, and I'm going to take and off some of the burrs and stuff on it real quick. That's done. We have our vents. The vents are cut and in there and good to go. Now we are going to put the hole in the side for the wiring. But before we do that, we're going to stick this in and figure out where exactly, and this, we're going to figure out where exactly we want to go. So this is going to be pushed all the way to the side. These are going to come over here, and we want to be able to come in right about here. That should give us plenty of space to put in our wires. Now we're going to want enough to be able to get both these wires and the other wires in from the controller. So the biggest bit I have is a 3/8. I don't have half like I thought I would. So we're going to go with the 3/8 bit, and then we are going to we're going to kind of make it a little bit wider. And no, I'm not going to drill it with the battery in there. Get the drill bit in it and we'll remove the stuff. But I do want to take and mark. I want to put the hole. Now I don't want to put it super far down. I want to put it as close to the lid. Not super close, but close enough, because this lid is going to provide the lip from the lid is going to provide a little bit of protection for it. I may get a rubber grommet and put in the hole. Right now I don't have that stuff, so we're gonna look here. I'm probably gonna go right about there. So, oops. I want the hole big enough so that we can get these connectors through the whole thing. And yeah, so let's go ahead and do that. I'm gonna remove the lid, we're gonna remove the battery, and then we'll put our hole in.
Now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at and turn it back around. You can't stop me. Sweat and sacrifice.
Alright. Battery in. Alright, so I'm gonna actually disconnect the wires from the inverter. There we go. That's a lot. Alright. Awesome. So that looks like that's going to work perfectly. And that's going to leave me with the extra, which is perfect. Because then I can take and I can loop the wires down. So if by chance there is any moisture that gets in here, instead of it following the wire directly down to the battery, it is going to go to the bottom of the loop and it'll drop into the bottom of the container. Hopefully we don't have any issues with that. We'll try it all out. If we do, I'll put some drains in the corners to allow for any moisture to drain out. But for now, this is going to work. So I'm not going to hook everything up, I'm just going to put the wires in there. There's enough wire to connect to the batteries, which is perfect. Now we're going to put this aside and we are going to attach the inverter to the lid. Once we get that all put together, we'll go to the charge controller and get that all installed and put together. I'm probably going to take and put the charge controller on this side instead of the end. Just makes it easier to connect, and won't have to use as much wire as well. No. Guys, I saved you guys the painful agony of watching me drill everything again. So I went through. I have drilled the holes, as you can see. I got one fastener in just to make sure it was going to work. So let's go ahead and put the fasteners in.
Pay the dearest price. There are no shortcuts here for destiny. I'll take the long way proud. Oh, I know what I've earned, and now it's my turn. Lighting the fuse, let it burn. My time is rising, and you can't bring me down. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie them to the ground. Can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my
All right, it is together. I had to skip on this one. I got it a little too close to the bend here, so I wasn't able to get a washer on both sides on this one. I'm not too worried about it. The rest of them have washers on both sides. It's solid, so that's ready to go. Now we can go to our charge controller and we can put this in. Alright guys, well, welcome back. The battery died on the camera, so unfortunately you guys weren't able to follow along with what was going on. So anyway, we left off with getting the here, got a little bit of a mess. We left off with getting the inverter on the lid. That's all done. That's ready to go. We got the charge controller. That's all installed. We have the out the battery. That's all installed from the charge controller. And now what we're doing is I'm installing these clamps. So I've already got the positive on, and I'm going to plug this in, get the wire set in there.
Before the storm, you know what's coming, so be warned. You can't stop me now. You can't stop me now. On my feet.
All right, here's our wires from the panel. We're gonna go ahead and trim these down. Where my cutters went. Trim these down, and we're going to put them in. Make sure that we are wide open there. There we go. All right. Now time for the other one. All right, cables in are good. So we're going to disconnect I want to make sure that they were going to connect up just fine. Disconnect the cables. All right. Now, for the fun and scary part. It's time to connect our battery and our inverter. Okay, and then this one. Make sure we don't ground ourselves out here and get ourselves electrocuted. So as I'm putting this together, kind of funny story. While the battery on the camera went out, I had to hook it up because I was working before I started working on the charge controller. I had everything hooked up to the battery just for the inverter. So I figured, okay, yeah, let's plug the inverter in and make sure the inverter works. Well, me getting a little too excited, we go. I accidentally, I hooked the positive up and I went to hook the negative up, and I accidentally grounded things. I didn't get a shock, but it sent a jolt up into the inverter, and luckily inside the inverter there's 4 40 amp fuses. I ended up blowing all of those. There was some extras that came with it, luckily, and so I was able to open up and get some new fuses in. Now I've got to go pick up some extra 40 amp fuses. But I got that fixed and we are good to go. We are now all hooked up. Okay. Oh. Okay. We are getting 12.4, 12.6 to the charge controller, 12.4 volts to the inverter, and looks like 122 watts. Awesome. So this thing, we do know that it's working. Now it's time to give it a shot on charging it up with the solar panels. First though, we're going to plug something in. Phone charger. It is charging. So we'll take it off, it's plugged in, put it in, boom, it's charging. This is working, this is awesome. So we're gonna go give it a shot and go see if we can charge it up. All right, we have the panel up. Panel is officially connected. Here's this. Our box is looking good. And look at that. We are charging. We are sending charge to the battery. That is freaking awesome. So it works. We had gotten it all put together and everything's working good, and we are charging. That is super awesome. All right, well, that's that. We're officially harvesting power from the sun. Obviously that battery's already pretty charged. The charge controller will help it and protect it so it won't overcharge and whatnot. I'm gonna keep that plugged in and just let it run, top off the battery, and that is that. We are done. We had a few little bumps in the road and we were able to get over those, mostly just videoing, but it is done. It is working and it's done. Super excited. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you guys have any comments or questions or suggestions, go ahead and leave them down in the comments. And other than that, if you haven't already, like and subscribe, and we're gonna have some awesome content coming up. So if you enjoy watching this stuff, also hit the bell and that'll let you know when we upload. Thanks guys, we'll see you in the next video.